Welcome back, everybody, to the CHG podcast. My name is RJ from CasualHardcoreGamers, and we got ourselves a special episode today. Ourselves a little special treat. Some of y'all been asking about special guests. Some of you guys have been asking, when am I going to have a special guest on the show? It has been some months since there's been a special guest on the podcast. It's been quite a while, but we broke that dry spell today, or whenever you're recording this. And we got today for all y'all, and I guess for me, Kinglionoflocs himself.
Salutations.
There he is.
Hi.
There he is.
Hi, I was just over here just chilling, hanging out with my bodyguard Leroy, reading a good book, The Incredible Hulk.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, King.
The pleasure is all mine, Sir Reginald. Yes. Where am I?
Is it? Yeah,
yes.
I bet it is.
It is. The pleasure's all mine, young Reginald. Thank you for having me.
Are you gonna put that book down?
I try and get a good book in every now and again. Read it to my bodyguard / son, Leroy. Forgot his name for a second there. Anyway, but yes, I was happy to join. I wanted to jump at the opportunity to be part of the great CHG podcast. I've been a fan watching it every day. Didn't know the man actually watched anime, but come to find out he did watching this. So it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, he's probably the one person who's asking more than anyone else to actually be on the podcast. Who is literally, some people have asked me, will there be guests, just generally, but he has actually been like, hey, you little bitch, when am I gonna be on this show?
Put 200.
Me on this show.
My ticket was 200. I don't know how I skipped the line. I think I had to fake cancer. I'm just joking, y'all. I'm just joking.
So here he is. He's here. We got him in. Yeah, for those who don't know, this is a gaming podcast where we try to talk about industry topics, gaming topics, in a somewhat intellectual and funny way. But I don't know if either of those are going to happen today. But we'll see what happens.
We could tackle both of those. We talk about, I got the intellect and you got the ha. I got the other ha. So like it's a little bit louder of a laugh. But I think we could do this and work it out.
Well, we're going to find out today, aren't we?
All right, I got it. Yeah, let's do it.
So as always, even though we have a special guest, it won't change the first part of the every podcast talking about what we are playing. I'll let you go first since you're the guest. So tell the people, what have you been playing, both offline and online?
So offline, we'll tackle that one first. Offline, I have been playing Death Stranded. That's kind of my away game. It's I'm a bit of an introvert, so like for those that want to get away from everything, you play Death Stranding. Granted, yes, it's a walking simulator. Yes, you deliver packages, but if you really just want to like walk and like just turn your brain off from everyone from the world, you put on Death Stranding. You play Sam Porter Bridges, and you deliver packages for America. Just you and your kind of dead, kind of not dead baby. It's kind of interesting. The storyline, it gets good, but I'm not gonna lie to you. That first hour and a half is all tutorial, and it will get a little bit boring. But once you get past that part and you actually get into the good part, which you're still delivering packages, but once you get to the story, it's actually pretty good. But for the channel, I've done a bit of a mixed bag of games. Finishing up my One Piece series, I just uploaded a video with Sir Reginald here himself. Me and him played Yu-Gi-Oh! It was a really good game. I granted didn't turn out how I wanted it to, but it's a really good game. We're going to do a rematch later, shortly down the road. Also playing some Naruto and just some other games on my backlog, like The Walking Dead. My backlog's kind of getting a little long. Have you had that issue before, where your just backlog just keeps on adding on and on and on?
Well, before I answer the question, I want to pose a question to you about the Death Stranding. How much Monster Energy drink have you had so far?
It changed. Like when you first,
Oh,
yeah, when you first get the game, it was just Monster Energy drink until a certain point where the game changes and you get beer, which I don't know how that gives you energy. But
what?
recently, yeah, I don't know. It's Timefall beer, which the wheat from the
All right.
Timefall makes you have gives you more energy. I don't know how, but but in the newer updated version, because I'm playing the director's cut for it, it's their own energy drink now from the game itself. It's like it'll be like Death
Oh,
Stranded. It's like some type of energy drink, and I'm like, okay, that's a nice
oh,
little
they
touch.
they lost the license. They lost the rights.
I don't see how like the game is heavily used for like monster, but like I do see that if you continue to play a certain part, you ultimately get rid of the whole need for monster. So like you never see the monster energy drinks anymore. If that's a reason to be upset about it, I guess that makes sense. But I ended up skipping the cutscene after you see Sam chug 7 Red Bulls or monsters back to back to back. Your kidney starts to ache a little bit because you're making this man drink just
What are
to.
you? Nah, man, nah, son. I'm about to channel my inner terrible self into Sam Porter.
No.
I like Monster. I actually like Monster Energy Drink. I haven't had one in a fucking long ass time though. Like a regular one. I've had like some of the like I had the fruit punch one a little
Mm.
while ago, but I haven't had an OG one for a long time. Um, and I like them. I like that one. I don't like the sugar free one or the low carb one or
Mm.
none of the coffee ones. I don't fuck with any of those. But I like the OG one and I like their fruit punch lineup ones too. That you find like at the corner store and stuff shit like that.
See, I
Um,
tried that once before, and it was back in college, and I finished the paper, but my heart just kept going, and I was like, "This is, I think I'm going to die. This is what hypertension feels like." But
Damn,
yeah, I was.
because I don't know about this a superhuman or some weirdo, but like I drink that shit not for energy.
Mm,
I drink it because it just tastes good.
really?
Like I when I was in college, I would just grab one like after work. I'd be like close the ship at like 9 and grab one and then just drink it for the rest of the evening until like midnight. I go to sleep just fine because I mean to me I still think it's a mind thing. It's all just a fucking mind thing. I mean, yes, there's caffeine, which yes, that does can do something, but I feel like it's really more of a mind thing. Like you're expecting it to do something, and so it does it. Like
Mm-hmm.
placebo effect. And for me, but since I don't have that connotation with it, I just like how it tastes. Even if I am getting that caffeine, I'm still gonna pass out. It don't matter to me. But anyways, as for your backlog question, I have lived with a backlog since I was 16, dude. All right, my backlog has never left me. I cannot. The only way I can get rid of this backlog is if I don't ever buy a game again for like 3 years,
God damn.
and then I would probably be out of my backlog because a lot of the games I haven't played yet are like RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like fuck, well, here comes 70 hours, like it's just, and as you get older, you get less time to do shit. So, um, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. When I was a teen, like when I first had a PS3, I didn't have that problem. As a matter of fact, I was actually done with all my games, and I didn't have any means to get more games, so I would just delete all the save files and just play them all over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I used to do. Um, and now it's just like, man, I now I can't even fucking keep up. I can't even keep up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, you're better than
So
me.
yeah.
I
Um,
I didn't run into this issue until just recently. Like I would like I was in the same boat with you. I would beat all my games before I would buy me some before I buy new games. But now with doing this whole content creation shtick, um, it's a lot harder because like there are games that I want to play that I just haven't been able to play. Like I have The Last of Us 2, and I have reservations on playing that game for multiple reasons. But like I just haven't had the time to play it either. So like all that adds up to like I just have these new games that and God of War is coming out too. So like it's just I got to play God of War
yep.
1 again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a it, but and part of it now is almost like amongst like David and other people, like it's now just a meme now. I think some of my followers, they think they caught on to it too, where like you're not going to expect the latest and greatest from my channel. Very rarely will you get that.
mm,
And you might get a AAA game, but it was from like 4 years ago. Like we're not on top of shit at all. And it's because I'm not on top of shit. Like I rarely buy a game day one. And I said this before on another podcast. I rarely buy a game day one, just because not enough games have me that interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And also, and it's like, and I'm not just going to shell out the $60 just for like some videos on YouTube. I don't care enough for that. Especially since I'm not going to play it outside of that, and that's what I would want to do, but I don't have the time for that because I got other shit I'm playing. So like it's just I don't even buy the game. So like I think it's really funny for me to be behind. Like I just played God of War, the first one, like
Which when
last
we gonna
year.
get the end of that? When we gonna get the end of that? Because you and T, y'all been playing that and like y'all did the first
Oh,
couple.
it was a live stream thing. I mean, not everything we do we finish.
Okay.
So I mean, we've had plenty of things on our channel. You can go back on a lot of our series. They're not finished. Only like 6 episodes. Not everything we do needs to be finished. And that's something I think not everything every like game YouTubers, not every let's play has to finish. It doesn't there's no rule saying that you have to finish any particular game. Especially if the views don't support it. If you just keep putting out videos for a series on a title and you're getting diminishing returns, you might as well just fucking cut it. There's just no point. The audience is getting tired of it, or they're not being engaged with it enough. So you might as well just move on to something else.
So you don't play it just for? I know, like you probably play these games multiple times already, but like you don't. Cause like me personally, it bothers me to like have like 1 or 2 episodes of a series of a game, and it just like a big chunk, like the My Walking Dead or the A Way Out, like those two. It takes me forever to do, and like when I'm playing it with someone else, and I have to like work with their schedule, and it's just like time has gone by, and it's just like okay, I start to get that itching feeling like I have not been able to like finish this series, and it just adds to my backlog issue. But it's more so like okay, I can't finish it because of either just time constraints. So I don't know. You know it doesn't I guess necessarily like irk you or bother you about that.
Well, again, you have to keep in mind, I'm not going in. There's a lot of titles that I go into not expecting not exactly to finish.
Mm-hmm.
There are some games that I do have the intention of seeing it through to the end, like for our Last of Us grounded mode playthrough. I
Yeah.
would like to get to that. I would like to get through the end of that because we're doing on grounded mode. I want to prove that it can be done. We can do it. I can do it. Whatever. Um, and so I would like to. Will it happen? I don't know. Will it happen before the remake comes out? I don't know. But I would like to. But like our Borderlands 2 playthrough I'm doing with David, I'm not expecting us to finish. I mean, that's a long ass fucking game. And to have to coordinate the time to do that with him, and we don't even have that much time to begin with when we do get together. We have
Mm-hmm.
like an hour and a half tops, and so it's like it'd be drip feeding on that series, and I don't want any part of that. At least Last of Us is a much shorter game, so I can deal with it. And even stuff I did with Travis, a lot more than like a 3/4 of the shit that we didn't play with the intention of finishing. Like we played God of War, the original one, from the OG one, PS2. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
finish that. We did Doom, the reboot. We didn't finish that. We we did Pokemon. We haven't finished that. We started Omno. We haven't finished that. So it's like unless the views were just fucking out of nowhere, just stupid high, and I'm like, okay, crap, these people really want this. I don't have a strong inclination, so it doesn't really bother me. So I mean, it kind of just how you go into it starting out. And like I said, I think a lot of YouTubers, especially small ones, they think that they have to finish the whole thing, which I get it. It makes sense. You start a game. If your audience likes it, you do want to finish it. I get it, but you don't have to. And I just had that from the very start. Because I took a lot of inspiration from Game Grumps, which some people have like noticed. Which yeah, I mean we kind of wear it on our sleeve. And so, and the one thing I remember, one of the few things that I remember taking from them is that they have series that they don't start all the fucking time, or that they don't finish all the time. No matter how much their fan base clamors for it, no matter how much they loved like the episode leading up to the last one that they did do, they don't finish it. And I don't know if they announced it or whatever, but they don't finish it. They know they didn't finish it. Sometimes they bring it up, but they don't finish it. They don't go back. And it's like, whatever. And the audience moves on. They move on. Everyone moves on. And it's whatever. And they do a lot of stuff. And a lot of things they just did like maybe 7 episodes on, 10 episodes on, probably with the same idea of we just wanted to play for a while and then let it go. There was no real purpose to finish it. So seeing how like they had that mentality on, I was thinking, there's no reason why I can't. So, anyways, moving on. So I'm kind of thinking of this shit on the fly because normally I have an agenda for a special guest, but fuck King. So no agenda. We're going
What's
to
the
fly under the seat of our
original?
pants. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Hey, that's the word. That's how it work. I like that. Seat of the pants. Hit me with it. Hit me with it. Hit me
I
with it.
do have a question though, kind
Mhm.
of related to. We're gonna kind of get into anime here,
Okay.
and also race because I'm really curious about it.
Okay.
Why do you think black people like anime so much?
Okay.
Because, and I ask this because the black people who I've met that like anime,
Mhm.
they're the ones where it's like, I don't know if you've seen this meme before, but it's like a guy and a girl, and like on a date, and the girl's like, "So what do you like?" and shit, and he's like, "Oh, I like anime," and she's like, "Oh, cool, yeah, it is," and he's like, "No, I like anime," and she's like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
because she knew the difference. Because when someone, just like these trendy YouTubers who are like, liking all the top shit compared to the real otakus, the real weebs
Mhm.
who, they got the mangas read well years in advance beforehand.
Mhm.
They know the directors, the producers, the illustrators by
Yeah.
name, like everything going in, and they watch the show and they're just so mad because it's like they didn't do this and this. They got the posters, they got the figurines, they got the fucking body pillows,
I'm
they
taking
got the
shots
whole
now.
nine yards.
You're shooting at me now. Like I need you
I'm not really shooting. I
to.
didn't know you had all this shit. I'm just saying, like, there's a difference, obviously, between someone who just likes the trendy animes, and those who are really down with,
like
what I don't know what the fuck that is, a shuriken.
it is a kunai knife. It is Minato's kunai knife.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah,
Well,
and
see,
then it's
see, like, okay, like this guy. Okay, but here's the thing, though. If I was watching you do some YouTube shit or some anime shit on YouTube, I'd be like, all right, I fucking trust this guy. This guy knows his fucking shit. He's an OG. He's a true fan, rather than these fucking like posers, these new age posers out here who are just telling you the latest, the trendiest shit. People like you and like David, who really fucking got their nose to the ground, who like more than just the mainstream shit.
hey, if you have your nose to the
That
ground,
seems.
you miss the planes flying over.
I don't know what that means,
Hey.
but I'm gonna move on and just say that it just seems to be when because I worked at GameStop. Games anime have shared audiences, very closely shared audiences. So I met a lot of brothers that come in and they like anime. Davis met many over the years, and it seems to be they really like some anime.
Mhm.
And so I'm just wondering, as a black man who likes anime himself, why do you think that is?
So there are two kind of answers. Mainly, the one is that unfortunately stereotype. They can't be they can be a stereotype if they are kind of hold on. They can't be a stereotype if they stem from truth or something to that nature. I could have that all fucked up, but
What do you mean?
that black people are meant to be cool all the time. Like we try not to be the nerdy ones, or like if you do,
Oh,
you see the ones that get pushed in the lockers, like
yeah,
Steve
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Urkels
yeah.
or like
Mhm.
all those. So at the time, at least back when I was young, anime was considered nerd shit. You watch anime, you're nerd. You sit over there with the guys that play Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering, and they actually do the Kamehamehas in real motion, then they power up and shit like that. You hang out with those people, and if you like anime, and so anime was kind of like a bad no. Like if you see me, most of my clothes now are anime shirts. Like even now, this says times 10 gravity is light workout. Um, but back then, back in high school, I would not be caught dead wearing an anime shirt because I know I'd be blacklisted. No pun intended. They would not fuck with me. The streets would not fuck with me. I would be scaring the hoes away. They
The streets will not
they
fuck with
wouldn't.
me, and
I,
the
I would
hoes will
be
scare it
I would be
away.
scaring the hoes away because like
And you don't understand everything. If you the street cred is
it
optimal.
just
You
is
you
there.
can't. You gotta have that street cred.
You gotta have the shortcut. And so it wasn't until like I left high school and I was like, okay, one, these people will never see me again, so why do I care? And two, anime is fucking cool. Fuck what people think. And come to find out, a couple years later, a lot of the people that would have called me weird and nerds like anime. A lot of the ladies that I was too scared to talk to because of the fact that I like anime, and I opened in with, "Hey, I like this." Watch the same animes that I watch. Now you get the small percentage where you say an anime and they hit you with the blank stare, like, what are you talking about? Those you just move on. You realize that, you know, that's dead. Don't worry about that, because like you say anything further, they're gonna be like, okay, you're weird now, and you're like, you don't want that, so you just keep it pushing to the next one, and the next one be like, oh, I know of that anime, or they hint to they watch one. There's a meme, I don't know the Egyptian guy, but it's like when the cute girl talks about how Ichigo has to collect the 7 Dragon Balls to become Hokage, and the guy's like, yes, tell me more about his Bankai that he collects, and it's like a mixture of each anime, and you listen to what they say about it, because even though there are parts that are like not right or wrong, you never want to show them how much of an anime nerd that you are. You don't want to gatekeep. So like you flame that love of anime, and you know, help them realize that, hey, you kind of got that wrong, but like it's still cool that you watch anime. I like that. Like we can watch this together, type thing. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then what's the other part of the answer? You said there was two ways to answer the question.
The other thing is that anime is a way for us to escape this world.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna bring that shit up.
Yeah. Like it's a way to escape this world. Like you watch anime to escape the world that you live in now. Like depending on, there's an anime for every type of person. I don't believe that there's no one that doesn't like anime at all, because you would think anime encompasses everything. Like you could have the medieval animes, you could have the drama or the detective animes, the superhero animes, the revenge animes that some people like, or the suburban animes. Like there's
suburban anime. What the hell is suburban anime?
The Devil's a Part-Timer.
That's what they call that. I call that a comedy. That's a comedy.
It's like he does light stuff. Like he works at McDonald's.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe it's like you call it like slice of life.
That's what I mean, like slice of life anime. There's
okay,
that.
Okay.
There's an anime for everyone. I honestly do believe that, but yeah, it's just it's an escape from this world, and you know there are some things that this world has that we just want to get away from, and that's
like shootings.
That gas prices and that, and you know,
police brutality,
and that too, and you know, just sometimes like having to go to work, you just like you feel like you just don't want to go to work. You just waiting for that truck food to come by and hit you, so that way you can start your world in the spirit world. You know, you wake up in another digital world, and you're like, this is not my world now, and you start new. You can be whoever you want to be, and that's what we're all hoping for one day. And you know, sometimes you daydream and you find yourself Naruto running or Sonic running. You take a stop and realize that
it went too far. Yeah, that shit went too far. Like it's one thing when you see anime fans doing the fucking, you know, Naruto run, the ninja run and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It hits a little different when I see the black kids doing it. It's just something about it. It's just like, it's
considered lame. We aren't supposed to look lame. We're supposed to look cool all the time. And like, you know,
I think it's no like.
It looks lame. Like unless you're in the actual anime, a lot of the anime techniques look dorky. Like
no, they do. It's not that. It's just we put so much. They really care. That's what gets me. They're not just fucking doing it a little thing, whatever, with their buddies. Like in that moment when I'm watching them, I can tell in that moment they truly believe that they are whoever they are impersonating in that moment, and that's what kills me. That's what gets me. I'm just like, you guys went too deep. You guys went too far. Let's reel it back in a bit. Let's bring you back here. Let's bring you back.
If you're playing with your friends, like you just want to make it real. Like when I would be in the safety of my own home, and it was between me and my brother, and we had a pact that, hey, no one finds out about this, otherwise we will bury each other. We would play Yu-Gi-Oh! And when we would play Yu-Gi-Oh!, we would, you know, act out the damage. We would act out like, oh my God, we've been destroyed. Like even when we've been like only 100 or 200 life points, we sold that shit like a WWE wrestler. Like we sold it like we just got like knife edge chopped. So like it helps out. It brings out
it. And that doesn't count. That's not even what I'm talking about. Like, because my brother and I, we had the fucking dual discs, and we fucking dueled with the dual discs and shit. Like, Yeah, we did the same thing. I'm talking like when you in the goddamn classroom and you pretend you're throwing shurikens on top of your chair in class in front of everyone else. I'm just like, yo, let's calm down. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just because that person don't care. That dude don't care. He don't fucking care. He is in it. He is in it. He thinks he is Naruto. He is Naruto or Sasuke. You couldn't tell him nothing in that moment. And it takes like the teacher to fucking like throw a fucking pencil at him to wake his ass up and snap him out of it. So it's just in those particular moments when I see that particular, if he's with his boys and they're all doing this shit, having a good time, I don't give a fuck. But it's just like, keep it there. Keep it there. You know, it's just, nobody wants to see it, let alone us fellow black men. But
I get you. Again, that's their way of escape. You got to take into account that like some of
that's
them.
a rough existence, man.
Hey, it's
When you zone out that hard in
you
class,
you like this
that's
anime and you feel like you could live in this world. Which, to be honest with you, there isn't a shonen anime world that I would like to live in, because with Naruto, you have to be either a ninja or you wait for your village to get attacked. Especially if you live in the Leaf Village, your village is getting attacked at least 3 times out the week. Dragon Ball
out the
Z,
week.
yes, out the
Fuck,
week.
what? Out the week.
Yes, the Hidden Leaf Village gets attacked way too many times. In Dragon Ball Z, your city gets destroyed for fuck all, and then you have
Hey, okay, that doesn't happen that often though. Usually Dragon Ball series, they had the decency to at least fight out in the fucking Rocky Mountains or wherever the
hold
fuck they
on.
were.
So we're not gonna
Like,
count Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Z, Nappa destroyed a planet just because he could. Cell
okay,
destroyed.
wasn't no one living there?
No, there were people living there, and the city
All right,
hasn't.
wasn't that real life? That ain't real life. That ain't real life. They don't. This the only planet with life is ours, so we're good.
No,
It's up. They
like
can
the city
blow
that
up Pulo. I don't care.
he blew up a city that he was in. He blew up a random city that he was in, and Vegeta was like, "Hey, motherfucker, you could have blew up the Dragon Balls." And he's like, "Oh, my bad." Cell blew up multiple cities to find Android 18. Boo blew up a whole planet that the Earthlings were living in after he killed every single Earthling. Like Dragon Ball Z, you don't want to live there because you die and then you get reborn. And it's
Okay, well, Boo doesn't have a brain, so Boo's actions I can't even
okay.
fault. All right,
Super
like
Boo killed everyone. He Super Boo.
yeah, Boo doesn't matter which one. I that one didn't have a brain. Okay, that thing was created with like goo and some spit or whatever. So I don't really care. That doesn't count. Cells though, I gotta get you that one because Cell he was a smart dude.
Yeah.
So I can't really say shit about that one. But anyways, I just wanted to ask that, get your idea because I've asked David, but he's white, so he doesn't really understand. So, because I did ask him, and he was just giving me what he thought might be the reason, but I was like, I can only go so far with his pasty face. So,
I mean,
and I don't know because I don't watch a whole lot of anime, and neither do I. Like, I mean, I get the sense of oh, not in the action shit because I don't watch a lot of that stuff, but like with the way they do relationship things, animes, like the way they portray emotions and they have their outbursts that they have, they can't hold it no more, and then it just outbursts for like 2 minutes, and the other characters like, just like, oh, what all that shit.
which we have to account.
Those are cool. Those are
they
cool.
are cool, but we have to at least we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that unless it's in sub, if you actually hear them in dub and say the actual lines, it's a little cringy. Like
oh no, yeah, sub. I'm talking
okay,
sub. Here.
yeah,
I'm not talking dub. I'm not talking
and
dub.
that's because we can't understand what they're saying some of the times. But like, yeah, it's kind of like anime is a little cringy at times. Like,
Oh, it's absolutely a cringe
yeah,
fest. I actually had to stop watching dubs because of just how bad it was. I mean, it's already stereotypical as hell, anyways, even if it's subbed. But then to get it out from when you start hearing these English, I'm just like, I told David, I was like, David, like, why? I don't get it. Like, who told these people to have such terrible deliveries with their characters? And he said he alluded to this. There's some reason for it that's kind of like out of their control. But even if there is, why? Why though? That my question still remains. There should be no reason because these people, like voice actors, have been killing it for years with animations, no matter what country it's in. Like animation has always, voice acting animation has been great for a long, long time. So why is it that when you translate the dialogue from anime from sub to dub, why does like Is it because again it's just going off of caricatures of characters because animes always have to follow these formulas? Because that's what it might seem to be, and it's like you're this kind of character, so you need to act this way or whatever. And it's just why just get rid of it, just toss it, just don't do that.
Now I will say that in terms of the story, I don't see why. But when they like, if the story of it is set one way and we dub over it, then it bothers me. Like case in point, the old Sailor Moon anime, the I think it's Venus and Mars, and they were in the U.S. They were family members. They were cousins, but back in Japan, they were lovers, and so
What?
yeah, so like in the anime, if you watch it here, they were like real friendly, real like close cousins.
For real?
Yes, yeah, they were like
They were gay?
yes,
For real?
yes, they were gay. They were
In the 90s?
yes, that's the thing. And then like in Japan, they were. Here
In Japan, because in Japan, same-sex marriage is still illegal.
Yeah,
you can't do it. So what?
Everyone likes,
really?
Everyone likes lesbians. Everyone likes lesbians.
Well, yes, but they still can't marry. They still can't do that. So, but still, like what?
Yeah. Like so, like the.
I mean, it's bound to happen. You can have 5 hot girls running around all together in like skimpy skirts. It's bound to happen, I imagine. But damn, still, I didn't even. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue. Sorry, you just blew my mind for a second there.
But yeah, so like and when people found that out, some of us were a little upset about that because the original canon of it is that they were actually lovers, which explained why they were so close. They recently did it a little bit more with like One Piece with the 4 kids, or like Yu-Gi-Oh with 4 kids, where it made Sanji, instead of having a cigarette, had a sucker. A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh characters had.
I know all the 4 kids. Localization.
Yeah, like they dubbed it up for the kids, and so they're trying now to stay more accurate to the actual what the people overseas are having them say, and it's a little cringy at times. Sometimes they can walk around it or get like say the same thing, but without it sounding as cringy. But other times they just can't. Like we've had bad anime dubs all the time. It's more common to have a bad anime dub than a good anime dub.
Oh yeah, but does 4Kids still even around? No. Are they still actually? No. Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah, but for those who don't know, 4Kids was like the localization like juggernaut for like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. It seems to be Sailor Moon, and like a lot of the big animes that came from overseas. To the West, and yeah, they did a lot of localization changes for the US. Maybe in Europe too. I don't know, but and I just told you one yesterday about Akisa from Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds.
Yeah.
In the Japanese version, which I saw because I watched the sub version because they never dubbed them. Akisa, because she had, for those who don't know, Akisa from 5D, she's like the main love interest for Yusei. She's a fucking hottie, but redhead and oh my everything. Anyways, she has like a dress that she wears as her costume throughout the series. In the sub, and she has like these like thigh high socks. You know how they do. Anyways, in the sub version, she has a garter strap connecting the socks to what we might assume is a garter underneath that dress, and the dub. That's not there. She has everything else, but the garter is not there. And so, yeah, I was just telling him about a localization just yesterday about that. Anyways, thanks for the input on that. I think a lot of, because it's like just an interesting thing because different cultures consume different forms of media differently, right? Like we'll see something in a very different light to other cultures. Just based on just how we've lived our lives and how our cultures lived. Like there's so many things you've seen out in the world where like white people have gotten upset about something, but black people are just like, yeah, like all right. Yeah. Like there was this comedian I listened to some time ago, and he was talking about how he grew up around black people his whole life, so he's very comfortable with black people. His best friend's a black guy, and he's also into hip hop and shit too, right? Mm. So years ago, when Twitter was kind of still in its infancy, they were kind of just going back and forth on Twitter, and then the comedian, the white guy, and they were roasting hard with each other because they're boys, they just were killing each other, and the comedian responded back with using a verse from some rapper from from some years ago. Oh gosh, what's his name? Oh fucking hell. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Some rapper that's no longer relevant anymore.
Oh.
And but it had the N word in it, so he put it in though. He put the whole thing in though. He put the whole thing because he was quoting a song lyric that the rapper had said, and he knew that his buddy knew what he was talking about, right? But he didn't think about the fact that this is Twitter and everyone can see this shit, and so all these other people saw it, and they were just like, but they didn't realize he was quoting a song lyric, and so he was like, so all the white people lost their minds, lost it. The black people, they were like, yo, you know this, you know this rapper? Like, what the? I didn't know you fuck with him like that. So it's just an example of just how different races consume different. We receive different things differently. Like, especially when it comes to race stuff. A lot of the shit, race stuff was like, I mean, meetings are different. We're talking about just like words that are said sometimes. Like sometimes black people are like, you should ask black people how we really feel. Don't be mad for us. Like ask us, like, are we offended before you go and fucking have a fucking field day with
Which
it.
we gonna tell you, we're cool because we just can't let you know how we
a
feel.
lot of times we don't give a shit
okay.
anyways though. There's a lot of shit it's just like, okay, maybe I'm upset, but not to the level I want to fucking cancel this guy. Like, I don't know. It's just,
Because it's hard to get canceled nowadays. It really is.
anyways, but we're kind of getting out of hand here. Let's reel it back a little bit. I want to ask you another anime thing, but this is more gaming related, and it's something I asked David a time ago, and I'm gonna ask you. I want you to give me your ideal anime game, and I want it, and you don't gotta worry about budget.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta worry about whether it even makes sense for the anime.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta worry about none of that shit. If you've ever had a game, or you had a game on anime that you really liked, and you were like thinking, I think this type of game would work hella well for this anime. That's what I want to hear. So, whereas, with David's, for reminder, his favorite anime is One Piece, and he would love it, instead of all the One Piece games to be more brawlers or Muso style games.
Mm-hmm.
He would love it to be more of an Assassin's Creed Black Flag, or like a Black Sails type of thing, where it focuses more on the seafaring part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It makes that more of a focal point rather than just the brawling part and stuff. And so, likewise, have you ever had some kind of out there idea for a game based on an anime that you really liked that's different than what we've already had before?
Okay, so I was thinking about that, because most of the anime games that we play nowadays, like you mentioned, are brawlers or Muso games. You get the rare open world games, but those kind of are ass. Shout out to Kakarot.
And Xenoverse 1 and 2.
Hey, okay, so Xenoverse 1, the rewards was
with this 30,000 pieces of DLC that it just will not refuse to stop.
And Xenoverse 3 has been rumored to be in development. Come check it out, 2024.
But not announced, so nothing to talk about.
Hey, you check it out. They putting some pictures up there. But back to the game, I've always thought of a Naruto open world game. Because those that know, like Naruto and Trigun are my two top favorite animes. And I like the Storm series, even though that it's a brawler. The Storm series has been the best brawlers to play, at least anime wise. But for a Naruto game where you start off as a tuning, and you rank up, and you just you go into the open world as a ninja, kind of like on a Dark Souls or Bloodborne type way, where you just go around and you do things. In the same sense, more so a Berserk, which is like Elden Ring, or Dark Souls, but more tone to the more so to the anime. So I wanted to actually look like you are Guts, and you're slaying demons all throughout this world, instead of you look like a Elden Ring character, and you're fighting actual demons. That would be it. Which I'm pretty sure you could probably do that in modding, but be those types of games. I typically like my games to be kind of akin to the anime. So which I know that's mostly them fight niggas. Well, can I say that?
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know. Even if I knew how to bleep people out, I don't think I'd do it because I'm too
I
lazy.
just asked because you said the N word last time. You said N word and not the actual
Well,
word.
I
So
guess I was just because I don't naturally say it, so that's
okay.
probably why I did that.
Well, I will say this. They don't normally they just normally be boxing left and right. They just be fighting. So like animes where they do other things, it's kind of hard to think of like what they want them to do besides like an open world. It's just an open world game, like Dragon Ball Z. If they actually did a good Dragon Ball Z Kakarot where you actually are able to like do open world stuff and you are able to find the Dragon Balls just out your world, and you're able to help people out and actually have a better character select mode, that'd be interesting. You made jokes about Xenoblade 1 and 2. The reward system was ass. I'm not even gonna hold you. The reward system was ass, and there's a little bit way too many DLCs, but they kept the game alive. So you can't really fault them for that. But yeah, those games are open world, and they're not as good as they could be. Um, so yeah, a good open world anime game would be what I would have asked for. That would be the next best thing. That or a good brawler game. Another good brawler game. I like those. I like doing tournaments for them. I'm asked at some of them. Not even gonna hold you, but I like brawler games. Those games are kind of fun whenever you have the homies over and y'all just like, hey, you want to play something? Like, yeah, what you got? I got this. I got this game. I bet I could beat your ass at this. And then like, I could be capping. I could be not. They could be asked. They could be more asked than I am, and I could be like, yeah. Have me do the baby on them, just like, yeah, I beat your ass. Like you have this game, and I'm like, I'm ass at it. But yeah, a good brawler game.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it seems to be when they try to, because what you're basically describing is like having that environment of what fighting games used to that generally bring, having the buddies over, just having tournaments, whatever, with traditional fighting games, Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur, what have you. And it seems to be that when Dragon, I think Dragon Ball was the first ones I started seeing that were trying to kind of taking that concept, but then kind of making it extra because with the level of movement you had, because you can fly at will,
Yeah.
kind of changes the level of, movement you could do within that 3D space. And it seemed to be, I mean, I know a couple of them are held in high regard amongst the fans, but critically, I think they did all right. They weren't garbage by any means, but we haven't had like that stellar anime driven brawler game, right? Until DBZ Fighters came out.
Yeah.
And that one just follows a traditional 3-on-3 style fighting, system, like Marvel vs. Capcom or something, where it's 3-on-3. And it seems to be when they went back to traditional fighting roots, it fucking exceeded. I mean, that game is still played at tournaments to this day, and it came out like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's still getting DLC support to this day as well. So it kind of makes me laugh sometimes when they did that and it killed it, and they didn't think like, maybe we should kind of just keep moving along with that, but they want to just keep doing this extra shit, and it just never seems to really stick. And it makes me laugh because it's like, you guys just keep doing this kind of style thing, and it doesn't seem to stick. But you guys took that one chance where you went more conventional and you killed it. Why wouldn't you follow the money? So that just makes me kind of laugh. But I will say, as far as your idea though, I think it could be done more because it is anime, and animes always have rich mangas, animes, television series to go with any game, right? That they want to usually they're retelling the story.
Yes.
Now whether they're trying to retell a certain arc or season or whatever, or if they're creating their whole new original story based on the characters of that anime, I would propose that it be done more in a Neo style rather than Elden Ring, rather than a From Software style. And I say that because Neo, one of the biggest things that Neo changed or shook up the formula for the Souls genre is that it is mission based. It is not one seamless world that's interconnected with different sections. It is you are in a self-contained, I guess you could call it a level. You are in a self-contained level, and you're getting from point A to point B every time, whether it's a submission or the main mission. That's all you do. And then after you finish the main missions, that is when you get the story bits in between.
Right.
And sometimes we get stuff in the mission itself, but that's rare. Usually it's we get like some cutscene before the start of the mission and then after to progress the story. And I think that would better suit something like a Naruto style Souls game itself, because otherwise where are you going to find the parts to tell that, to tell, especially if they're just retelling a story, a certain part of the anime, where the hell are you going to do that, right? Because if you follow the From Software style, it's always very fucking vague, and you only get like these, you get a bombastic intro in the start, and then when you fight a boss, he or she says some, you know, some cryptic shit that you just don't know what hell's going on, and then you have to rely on NPCs that also tell you cryptic shit that you don't know what's going on, and you somehow need to put all this together like a goddamn math equation where you only have half the numbers to figure out what the plot is. And I know Souls fans are going to be like, it's not that hard, RJ, but
Oh
whatever. From
yeah,
the outside
it's
looking in, that's
ridiculous.
how it is. Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Um, I'm not saying it's Kingdom Hearts level of convoluted, but still,
It's
it
not that
is.
complicated. Now hold on a
It's
second. I took that shot. I took that one right there. It's not that difficult. Like Kingdom Hearts is love. Is the
no one's
darkness
saying it's
within
not
you.
love. No
Is
one's saying
hold
it's
on,
not.
I'm not done yet. Kingdom Hearts is light. Kingdom Hearts is the way. Kingdom Hearts is the little pookie on the street that like helps you out. Kingdom Hearts is everything. Kingdom Hearts is a planet down the street on Jupiter's moon. That's where Kingdom
It
Hearts
is
is.
everything, and
Yes.
part of that means it's also convoluted. So
Tomato, tomato.
just saying, it is. You even told me I can go replay some live streams where you've been on them, and
I
you
don't know
told
what
me
you're
those
talking
exact words. Anyways, it is a little convoluted. The Souls way of their storytelling. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a little tough to kind of understand. It's not just clear cut. But the Neo, even though this story wasn't that clear cut either, having it separated in these distinct sections gives the game ample time to tell whether a retelling or a new story for that series. And I was kind of thinking that style before you even mentioned it, like, you know, place yourself, you know, just a ninja, especially if it's just kind of like you like, because if it's a Souls kind of thing, I was thinking like, you know, what are they called? What did you call them?
about.
Chinling?
Ginning,
Ginning?
Ginning. Start off as a
Ginning.
Ginning, then
Ginning.
you
Okay.
tuning exam, and then
So,
I think of the thing after it at this moment.
well, whatever that the beginning, or you know, that first form, we'll call it first form, baby form, we'll call it baby form. Let's say you just like the game starts, and then you know you you create your character, all that shit, you know, create your ninja, you know, get them all set. You can maybe like set like how you want to, like how your playstyle will be. Are you going to be more fast and nimble? I mean, you're always going to be a little fast because you're a ninja, but like, are you going to focus more on stealth? Are you going to focus kind of more on a more frontal attack or something like that, kind of being anti ninja, kind of, whatever they would do. Have your preset set up how you want to start things off. Maybe it's how you know, start your beginning stats, shit like that, and then you know the cutscene will start. It has you go into the village or wherever the fuck you go to do the test, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's maybe either you do the let's say either you pass, or the test is not written but it's actually like a physical test, and it's like you got to get to that point or whatever, and people are going to try to kill you for real, like for real,
Yeah,
like, and then and then the teacher's just like, all right, fuck you, see you later, and then just drops you, and then game starts. Like, you know, I feel like
which
something like
is like
that.
the anime, which is
Okay, cool. I
definitely
didn't even know that. So I mean,
yeah.
like, but I feel like that would lend itself really well to the Souls style, because it's like, all right, cool. You got your weapons, yeah. All right, cool. I need you to get all the way over there, you know, and I'll see if you get there, then you pass. And then it's like, okay, and it's like, hey, GG. By the way, there's gonna be stealth master ninjas trying to kill you at every fucking corner. Also, we grab some demons from hell to come and fuck with you too. All right,
The
later.
tuning exam,
You
yeah,
know,
that
and
is the
then
tuning exam.
you just go, and then you have to figure out how you need to get there, you know, and then like the combat can be whatever they do with it, but like, yeah, like that's kind of what I was thinking along those lines. And then you know and then after you get there, there's like a cutscene that tells you that story, and then you just progress the story from there, you know, and like maybe some diabolical plot, some rival ninja clans coming in and fucks you up or something, I don't know, you
Also
know, and
happened in
it's
the
just,
tuning exam.
I figured that would
I,
happen because it's just like a ninja. I know there's rival ninja clans and shit like that, but yeah, I feel like that I feel like the Neo style would fit better because it's still a Souls, like you still get that Soul style combat, stamina based, you know, all that stuff. You got to time your attacks right. I mean, it's gonna be a little faster though because it's ninjas we're dealing with here, so it's probably gonna be a style of more Sekiro style, like at least speed wise. But
mhm.
obviously it'll still have that sense of like, you know, every shot counts, and you can only take like 2 to 3 hits before you're down. Um, and then obviously they can build on it from there. But I think that's a good idea. I honestly think that's a good idea, like a Souls-like style of a Naruto game. I think it would be better if it did create its own story, and then I mean, it can maybe lend itself, take some lending some things that are within the anime or the manga, and obviously we need to have some of the characters in there, so you'll meet some along the way to help you out through the story, or through the the main conflict. But I do think it could be a damn well pretty. I play it. I would play it. I give it a shot.
Now the only issue with that, like, on just playing as devil's advocate for myself, I gotta tag out
Why
devil's
would you
advocate.
do that?
Just rock with me, just rock with me. So devil's advocate for myself. We have seen there have been at least over 10 games, Dragon Ball Z wise, that has retold the story of Goku. There have been,
They sure have.
yes, there have been, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 stories of Naruto that at least kept you up to date with the story of Naruto. Now, when game developers have divvy from that formula and played their own story, granted the gameplay has been ass. Naruto Shinobi Strikers was like the Xenoverse of Dragon Ball Z. People didn't like Shinobi Strikers because the gameplay was ass, but like that was their first attempt as to playing this is you are your own ninja, but you're playing against other people. And they tried to do their own thing and it didn't work. And then you also remember Xenoblade, where you could change the story of Dragon Ball Z, which it was fun for a bit, but the second one wasn't all that good. And even Fighters story is kind of ass. Like it's not the best story. The gameplay is good, but the storyline of it is not. It's not Dragon Ball Z story. It's a totally different beast, and some people didn't like it. So like we are fickle people, us of the anime community, where we say one thing, but then if we get what we want and it's not what we want, we completely say, well, you should have just made the story again. You should have did that. Like there has been, like when they first told us about Xenoblade 1 and 2, they was like, this is not going to be the normal Dragon Ball Z story. It's going to be different. And we're like, oh my God, this is going to be different. We don't have to see Goku fight Vegeta for the umpteenth time, or Frieza blow up Planet Namek and punk out and says, now we have the longest 5 minutes of the world. And when we get the game, it's Goku versus Vegeta in a darker form with another Saiyan, and you're there. And then Frieza didn't bitch out and he actually blew up the planet, but somehow we brought it back, and now we have 6 minutes before the world blows up because time travel. It's not what we wanted, and so now we're complaining about it. But like, this is what we wanted, was something different. But when we got something different and it wasn't what we wanted, we're just said fuck it, just give us the original story. We'll just play it over again, and just like we're fickle creatures. We really don't know what we want.
Well, I have counters to your argument. I guess the devil's advocate. I don't even fucking know, but I got some counters to. Well, no, the counters are to give you hope. So I guess it's not devil's advocate; it's angel's advocate. I guess I should say. I mentioned this the most recent podcast from this what we're recording here that we did last week. I mentioned that it is. I forget what we were talking. We were talking about some game. I forget which one it was, but we were mentioning that the story. I think it might have been Neo actually, but we're saying like the story was never really that great. Like Neo was not lauded for its story because it's kind of hard to understand what the fuck's happening because they retell the real life events that happened in a very weird way. But the gameplay was so good that no one cared. The gameplay was so satisfying and so much fun and so addicting that you didn't really care. You were watching some of the cutscenes, and even if you didn't really understand what was going on, you're just like, okay, that's cool. I just want to give me new shit to work with, to play with, and then send me back out there, coach. Like I'm ready to go. And I was using it as a point to explain like how important it is that you have your gameplay down. If you have very, very satisfying gameplay, and it is a joy to play, other things can be forgiven. And some of the examples you gave when they did deviate from the norm, you mentioned, more often than not, the gameplay wasn't good to follow it up.
Yes.
And I feel that was that's the biggest sin, is the gameplay is not fun. Dragon Ball Fighter Z would not have been as good as it was if it didn't play as well as it did or does.
Yeah,
Because
and the gameplay is amazing.
you said they didn't go the regular route with the story, and so even though people might have been a little confused and peeved with that, obviously it's been forgiven because the game is still played today and is still very much well regarded. It got like 9s and 8s and 10s when it came out. It's a very well regarded fighting game, and because they got the game mechanics down so well.
Yeah.
And so I would argue that if they did something like a Souls formula with the one you're proposing, and they did it really well, and they got it really good, really down to a science, and it's so much fun. There's so many options and so many different ways you can approach any scenario, which is usually what a Souls game expects. It gives you the tools to approach any battle the way you want to do it. It may not work, but you get to choose to do it. And if they did something legitimate with this Naruto game, where I was like, yeah, everyone's a ninja, but if they actually were able to break down the different types of ninjas, even if they're not from the anime or manga, but just different types of ninjas, maybe like powerhouse ninjas, or real stealthy ninjas, like you were practically invisible most of the time, or whatever, right? I'm just spitballing here, but if they did something like that and it allowed you different ways to play the game, that's where, even if the story was a little ass, even if they're retelling it and it's a little whatever, it's just like, I already know what the fuck's gonna happen. Or if they did something original and they were just like, I'm not really that invested, but it's like, fuck though, everything is so smooth, like stylish, and like DMC level of style, right? Like if it's that good, I think even as fickle as the fan base is, everyone loves good gameplay. Everybody loves satisfying gameplay, and I feel if they got that down, that could be forgiven. I mean, obviously they wouldn't want to try to make an ass story, but if they did, it could be probably forgiven in my head.
Oh
But
yeah.
also another thing is, Show Me Strikers was the first time they kind of deviated from the formula in a long time, or maybe the first time, at least for that franchise. A lot of times when you deviate, yeah, you're not going to stick the landing. That's the thing, though. Like it's not always. Yeah, we always think it's first, it's going to stick, but it doesn't a lot of times stick. But that's just part of the process, and you have to take these failures to be able to build upon them. A lot of times, a first game in a new IP doesn't really do well, but then the sequels kill it because they were able to take that feedback and then fix everything, and then really bring us what we wanted in the first place. And so that's the caveat I would say. So I still think it'd be worth it. I still think, remember, we weren't worried about any of that shit. We just wanted to just your fantasy game. That's all we were trying
Oh
to just
yeah,
get at
no,
this
no.
too.
Please believe, if
So,
even if the story is ass and the gameplay is good, I'll still play it. In most fighting games, the story is kind of ass or it's a retelling, and I'll still play it. Like I got JoJo Bizarre Adventures: Eyes of Heaven. That game, the storyline, I actually like it. The gameplay is okay. My only gripe is there's no local two player. If you want to play two players, you have to play online, which is it's dumb. That makes no sense whatsoever. But the other one that's just about to come out, the Battle All Star Battle R, that one is Street Fighter mechanics. And while I hate the quarter circle mechanics, I'll still play it because I like anime fighting games, even if they're ass sometimes. I don't know. I'm a como se dice masochist about it. So like I'll play a bad. It depends on how bad of an anime game it is. If it's like something like Shinobi Strikers, I probably won't do. Xenoblade 3, I'm definitely gonna have to watch to see.
you keep saying Xenoblade and it's Xenoverse.
You know what I mean?
Xenoblade is another game entirely.
Xenoverse, sorry. Xenoverse 3, if I'm gonna have to wait till someone else plays that and then check to see if that's worth playing, because I feel like it's not. They got me with the first two, and who's to say they may have like Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego as the main parts of this new one, and you could transform into one of those, and you know what? Just like that, you got $60 out of me. I'll play it again just to be Ultra Ego my character, or Ultra Instinct my character. You got me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it depends. It all depends on the type of game and what they sell. They show in the little cutscenes, because
Well,
I think we're overdue for a new anime game.
we're supposed to get some new. I think we're getting a no. That's the movie. I was confusing the new One Piece movie that either came out or is about to come out soon.
Red
One Piece
is
Red.
Red's about to come out now. There is a
Yeah.
One Piece game coming out. It's Odyssey, which I thought that was
Mm.
more so attend to what David was asking, because there are ship aspects where you fly around, not fly around, but you go into in your ship and you have a little bit of pirate fights, but you're mostly on an island and you just do One Piece things.
Hmm.
You go
Well, he didn't
around.
mention this, so I don't know if he knows about that one. I'll have to ask him about it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's relatively new for the P. I at least know for the new consoles, and the gameplay looks interesting, but the characters don't look like One Piece characters. At least the models of them, they don't, which is always another gripe where the models don't look like the characters. Case in point, Jump Force. That was the 50th anniversary of Shonen Jump, and
yeah.
oh my god, those are nightmare fuel characters. Frieza looks horrendous. Cell looks like an actual big bug creature, which it's weird. Who else is in there that looks disturbing as fuck? Yugi Moto. He
Yugi
looks
Moto's in that game.
Yeah, he's in there. Seto Kaiba's in the game.
What? They brought them in there? I didn't know
Yeah,
they were in that game.
yeah. It's weird.
Oh
It's
shit!
also too much particles, so like it's the Saiyan characters, they transform into Super Saiyans, and it's hard to see. Your screen goes from like 1080 to like 720 that fast.
Damn.
Yeah,
I do remember that game got ripped up a bit, which was a shame because I was really excited like for David because at the time I didn't know he really didn't like anime games. So I thought he was gonna get really. I thought he was gonna be pumped for this one. I was excited for him. I was like, "Yo, bro! Like, hey, Jump Force! Like, this looks like it's supposed to be like a really big. This should be a good anime game." He was still, even then, he was like,
yeah.
"I don't trust it. I don't trust it. Something about it. Something about it. I'm not keeping my hopes up." And a good thing he didn't because he would have been devastated. Yeah, because that game did not do well when it came out.
Imagine spending $70 on that game just to get a poster and being upset when you play it. Oh, it hurts.
Oh,
It hurts. The game was not worth it. The game was not
that's a
worth the
bummer.
extra. Yeah.
Well, I'll let King cry in the corner later about that. But we're gonna wrap up the podcast here. We got some fun stuff talked about. We even brought we brought in race, we brought in anime, we brought in games, we brought in his dream game, which I would play the shit out of.
Nice,
I would absolutely play this. I don't know if it'd be a day one. Probably wouldn't be a day one, but I would give that game a shot. And if it played like Neo, I'd probably play the hell out of it. I think that has the potential. I think because out of the main, the big ones, the big three or four, the big four.
Mhm.
I think that's the only one where that would work well. Naruto. I think like that's the only one that style would work well with, in my opinion. But anyways, for anyone else who's watching this, if you're an anime fan, let us know again what your dream anime game might be, or dream game, whatever it might be. Give a shout out to King here on his channel. He is, like he already mentioned before, he is playing a bunch of anime games. It's a very, very long continuation from his anime month thing that he was doing.
Things came up,
That extended 2 months
Yeah.
after the fact.
We're almost done. We're almost done. Thank God.
Um,
One Piece. Never again will I do a beginning to end of One Piece, because
Yeah, you see, this is why I said you don't need to finish top. You don't need to finish your games. This is what happens when you think that you have to finish everything you start, man.
One Piece is just too fucking long. Like,
What do you expect to happen, bro? Like, it's One Piece. The show's not even done yet. Like, the
It's
manga's not
not.
even done yet, right? The manga's
It's
not even done.
not. We're
Yeah,
not
what
even
did you think
close.
was gonna happen?
I thought I
Like,
could finish it. I did.
well,
I
maybe
did.
if it was just you, but then you had your friends with you like half the time. So, like, I think that's what. Anyways,
Yeah, they were my Lorax, and I could not play One Piece by myself. That I would not be able to make it through it. It's not one of the favorite of the games for me. Like it's like Naruto, Bleach, kinda, and then One Piece, and it's only because Bleach is a lot shorter, but it didn't go nowhere. And One Piece is just like that's like half my life I have to give away just to watch it. Like my two friends that are habitual One Piece watchers, they are like up to date. When an episode drops, they're on that shit. And like I just can't even be bothered to do that for One Piece. Like I just can't. I cannot. The
I'm
show
sure
is
you'll
good.
catch up. I'm sure you'll catch up eventually. But yeah, so that's what he's been doing. Keep your eyes peeled. He and I did do another collaboration on Yu-Gi-Oh! The Battle Master game, whatever, the one that came out recently. We
That's
played a
pretty
few
cool.
with that one. We played a few battles, went back and forth a few times on it. So keep your eyes open on his channel when he please puts that out. But other than that, you can also find him on Instagram, right? Maybe.
Yeah,
No.
it's the same name. It's the same name. I had to change it. It's the same name. I had to
All
change it because
right,
I have
yeah, yeah, and then so that's what he's doing. That's where you can find him. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Check him out. He sometimes has guests on there with him as well. Not just me, but he has friends over playing games sometimes with him. He did a recent collaboration with Real Papa Gaming as well, where they play the JoJo demo, the new JoJo All Star Battle Royal R. And so just keep, if you like anime games, he's been doing that over the last little while. But he's also done Last of Us remastered some time ago, and he also did A Way Out as well, some time ago as well. So give a shout out to him. Go check out his channel. Put some likes up. Sub to his channel. He's a good guy. He does his thing even when he's not being annoying as fuck.
I'm not annoying.
Not now, somehow, thankfully. But
I
anyways,
I am not annoying. I don't know what he's talking about. This agenda that he
his
gives me being
greatest
annoying.
his greatest joy in life is pissing me off. Anyways,
I don't even do anything.
we are gonna wrap this one up here, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us, hanging out. Thank you again for King for stopping by and being a guest on the show.
Hey, if you need me to come back again as a regular, I don't mind. I got me and Leroy be chilling, just watching animes. Ain't that right, Leroy?
All right. Well, say goodbye to King. Say goodbye to Leroy, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
See you guys.